Okay, so
what about the way United handled the decision itself?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the way United handled it.
Okay. So there's no element of disrespect like people are suggesting?
No, there's none. I think it's the fact that Harry Maguire took it to Twitter to post it, right? Maybe the club could have discussed how we're going to bring the news to the whole world. So it could have been that there's going to be a release from the club. Maybe they also agreed Maguire could go on and post it on his handle. So that is where it started. And quite clearly, Maguire was very disappointed, as he said in his own tweet. So there was nothing wrong with it. And if you put yourself in the shoes of Erik Ten Hag, you're thinking that you want your captain to be important to the team. And quite clearly, from all indications, Maguire is not important to his setup. Because last season, Harry Maguire started the first 2 games they lost. And only from there, started 6 more games for the rest of the season. It wasn't as if he was injured throughout. He was just not getting paid. Yeah. And people say he's 4th choice. He's not 4th choice. He's 5th choice. Because it's Lisandro Martinez, it's Varane, it's Lindelof, it's Luke Shaw. Yeah. Right? Who is always going to be paid ahead of Harry Maguire as well. Okay. So quite clearly, the manager doesn't have plans for Harry, which is why he's taking the armband from him. So that he gives a player that is very much an integral part of the team that is going to be playing week in, week out. Because if the captain is not playing, there are roles the captain has to play. Yeah. If the captain is struggling with his game time and his own form, he can't inspire other players for some managers. And that's why I like the Sir Alex Ferguson style of picking captains. Okay. You could have a team for 3 years, and the player who was the captain in the first year is in the team in the second year, but a different player or captain. A different player or captain in that 3rd year. So remember, the season before Man United won 2008, the Champions League, Vidic was Man United's captain. Yeah. By the year they won the Champions League, even though Vidic played alongside Ferdinand in the final, Rio Ferdinand was the captain for the season. Because he had a team of leaders. So it didn't really matter who was in that armband. Even though you carried out a responsibility, everybody was a leader. They don't have those personalities in the side now. So somebody has to assume that role. About Harry Maguire leaving Man United, I think for his own career, it is good he leaves the club. Because next year is the Euros. If he's going to play at the Euros, I think that, you see, the World Cup was different because he had played the season before the World Cup. The season started for 2-3 months and they broke the league and went for the World Cup. So he still had credit in the bank. He cannot have the season he had this season with United, last season with United, the season coming, and think that maybe Gary Southgate will still give him the call-up or he'll be fit enough to play. So if he wants to go to the Euros next year, he has to consider that he has to leave.
And he has to play.
He has to play.
Go if you don't play.
He absolutely has to play. And
at United, that's not guaranteed anymore.
He's not going to play at United. And the point is, Harry Maguire, he's worked so hard to go up the ladder, right? Came from Hull City, Leicester, to a big club, Man United. All of a sudden, he's going to 30 years and it looks like he has to drop down. And I don't think if he goes down to the mid-table clubs, maybe with all due respect to West Ham and other clubs, I don't think he comes back up. Because he doesn't have age on his side, doesn't look like more clubs would want him. And the Maguire problem is a Man United problem. And to wrap it all up, when Man United bought Maguire, they bought him for a coach who was going to use him in a way that he thrived in his previous club and for his country. At Leicester, they were a very counter-attacking team. So they will sit deep, have many bodies around Maguire. He can defend in that kind of scenario.
Putting body on the line.
Then they go on the counter attack. And that Ole, it's exactly what Ole did. The more reason why Rashford, Martial, Bruno, Greenwood scored a lot of goals on the counter. They were very good. Yeah. And when they set out the block, Maguire was decent. Ole brought in Dan James to do the similar thing as well because of his pace for counter-attacking football.
Now the demands are different.
Now it is different because United want to be a bit more expansive. They want to keep the line higher. They want to play a lot more of the ball.
So they need defenders who are comfortable on the ball.
Defenders who are comfortable on the ball. Of course, I've got pace on recovery to track back, and all of that Maguire doesn't tick any of those boxes.